Welcome to Shakers. Another iteration of our cooking class is taking place. Working with Cuban cuisine today throughout the day, and this is going to be the national dish of Cuba. This is a Ropa Vieja, which in essence means shredded clothes, old clothes, something of that nature. We have a flank steak right here, about 2¼ to 2½ pounds of flank. I mix this real simple blend of spices. So this is paprika to carry forward the Spanish element, cumin, sea salt, black peppercorn, and Mexican oregano. We're now looking for a real dense kind of a paste with this. We're just going to do this as essentially as a dry rub. Some of the things like we do the pork dishes or something, we make that into a paste first. A nice semi-aqueous mixture. This though is going to be just a dry rub. We've got some garlic here as well. I'm going to do is take the garlic and I'm just going to give it a little smash, palm of my hand. If you want to use the blade of a knife, you certainly can. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to rub this. So what I like to do is to take a knife and make a few little inserts here. Right in the muscle tissue itself. And we're going to put our garlic cloves into there as well. It doesn't have to be deep. We got some on the top. Doesn't matter where they are. They're all going to flavor very nicely. Now we're going to take our spice blend here. Let's put this right on top. I'm a real proponent of using your hands to pat things into place. Rub it around, hence the term rub. This is so small we don't have to do the underside as well. But what I do like to do is take a fork and I like to poke my meat and get the flavor to move itself into the tissue itself, because that's really where the flavor is going to emote from. But again, this is a thin enough piece that it almost doesn't matter. It's just going to be incredibly flavorful as we cook it. Now, it's a couple thoughts on this is that the cheaper cuts of meat that are used throughout the Caribbean and Central and South America are things that are used because they are cheaper cuts of meat and they're widely available there. In the US, these same cuts of meat have become incredibly expensive. Not because they're extraordinarily good or refined pieces, but rather because they are authentic to what people have had in different places. So 20 years ago, it was more of a challenge for butchers to take the time to get you a flank steak or something of that nature. Now it's incredibly simple. It's just part of the process. It's the underbelly of the cow. But they still charge heftily for something which is, and again, rather an inferior part of meat. So when this cooks, you're going to be shredding this down, and we'll show you that as it comes out and cooks. You know, if you want to substitute a different piece of meat for this, I like chuck steak quite a bit. It has more fat in the tissue. It's a longer cooking process. It works well with braising. Flank steaks generally is something that you flash in the pan, you make done quicker. In this case, the Cubans have a tendency to cook it longer as well. So here we go from this into the oven. We're about 325 degrees, 350 degrees, and we're just going to watch her. Get it off. Back in a few short minutes and see where this takes us. Thank you very much. Cheers. Welcome back to the Shaker's Kitchen, and as promised, we are going to be bringing out the Ropa Vieja from the oven and right now. And this has been cooking for several hours. You can do this at home in a crock pot or any number of things you like. Obviously at the restaurant we're using hotel pans. So here is what this looks like right now. This is the Ropa Vieja, which is typically done with a flank steak, which looks just like this in its uncooked format. So what I've done is, and the recipe shall be provided, but we've taken our meat, we've added our flavorings. There's two general ways to do this. One is just to cook this by itself with a simple solution of some water and a little bit of acid. I, however, like to get the full flavor of everything that's going to be in here. So the concept of Ropa Vieja is shredded clothes. It's like you're on your last lick and all you got is the clothing on your back is that old beaten white feeder kind of a thing. And this is what the food is going to look like. So this beef is going to shred. We've got, for all intent and purposes, like a sofrito mixture, a couple of different peppers, some onion, garlic, of course, a little bit of tomato product as well. I'm just going to saute that off. That's going to go on top of this dish along with some of this. So I think the best way to really accomplish this is to take a spoon, take our long simmering mixture here. Again, I have a few different types of peppers. I have onions, I have garlic, I have tomato, and Spanish olives. Olives give it a really nice briny complexion and flavor to it. Helps make the association with Spain, which is where a lot of the Cuban dishes and influences came from. By mixing this together, both you get the fresh flavors of the fresh produce, but you're also getting all these dense, really well flavored components that came off of the cooking process. Fairly nice little mixture going on right there. Grab a couple of forks. Give it a simple plate. And we're going to take a piece like this and we're just going to shred this apart. And you can see the pieces here of the tissues as they're coming out the muscle. And if you can imagine, this is going to look just like old clothes that you're wearing that are now shredding as well. So this is going to be presented with some white rice and of course the sofrito mixture right there. You get all these little striations here that you would find in that flank steak. If you look at that again on the uncooked stage, you can see how the muscle is. So this is a flank steak is on the bottom of the cow, and on the lower area it doesn't get a lot of work per se and has a tendency to be really dense and thick, and it generally is not well adapting to braising just because of the way the tissues are. So if you want to use a chuck steak or something of that nature, you get just incredible flavors that go along with that. I highly recommend you look at other things beyond just the flank steak. With our white rice, and here we have traditional Cuban Ropa Vieja. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Cheers.